I'm pretty keen to get out here and get going because it's such pretty weather. I feel like it's going to warm up a lot too. But the thing that I have to do first, because it's the absolute priority, is we've got to start some seeds. So that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to go through what I'm seed starting. I'm going to show you these seeds now. Okay, I'm organised and I've got my herbal tea. And for those who want to know, I'm having the dandelion tea again. So it's dandelion root. I love it so much. I have it like a couple of times a day. Let's get into the seeds. So first things first, if you haven't been following along, I probably should have said I'm Phaedra and this is Phaedra Gardeness and I flower garden. I'm going to call it flower garden now because I feel like flower farming is a very stressful thing to do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out my previous video where I talk about the burnout that I've sustained. I think I want to call it a flower garden, a cutting garden. I don't know what I'm calling it now. Flower and veggie farm. The thing that I want to do is I am considering only planting edible flowers out there. The other stuff can be in the house yard, and the reason being is because I'm not having to, I'm choosing to not cut everything and be constantly go and needing all that stuff for florist work like those particular flowers anymore. I do have that leeway to kind of experiment a little bit more and loosen up the edges a lot, if that makes sense. I feel like it'd be amazing to walk, eventually we'll have gates, to walk through the gates of the flower field and just know everything out here is edible. Eat whatever you want, you can eat all of it. And people will be like, can I eat that? And I'll be like, yes, that's edible. Can I eat, what about this? I'll be like, yes, every single part of that plant is edible. I feel like that could be really fun. So anyway, let's get into it. First and foremost, my most exciting purchase, I actually got some floret zinnias. So this lovely company in Australia called Veggie and Flower Garden Seeds. I will put links to everything, all the places where I've bought seeds, I'll put them in the description of this video. But anyway, so they've sent me the originals little book, which is good. Oh look, there's a cat. Anyway, so the ones I bought were Zinnia Golden Hour. I'm going to pop these up on the screen so you can actually see them up close. And I got the unicorn mix because, as you know, I like my bright colours. The unicorn mix is going out into the flower field. And if you didn't know, zinnias are edible, like 100% edible. They're kind of bitter. Like I don't know how much you'd want to eat them, but then they're not toxic. So that'll fit perfectly. So I plan to put the unicorn mix out into the flower field. And then the golden hour, which I'm really excited about. I feel like those colours are beautiful. And the golden hour, like as a photographer, we're always chasing golden hour. So I feel like this kind of resonated with me a little bit. This one's going to go in the house yard. So I'm keeping them separate so they can't cross-pollinate. And I'm hoping to save seeds because I've only got 2 packets. Like how many, I can't remember how many seeds are in a packet, but there's not many. So these are my precious. I'm gonna try and really hard to make that work. Now the next one is nasturtiums, and I love nasturtiums. They're one of my favorite flowers. I say that about all the flowers, don't I? Zinnias aren't my favorite, if that helps. But I am excited about these floret ones. So that's not a nasturtium. I love nasturtiums, and I've noticed that at our place they grow the best on the south side of a building. So almost no sun. They get a tiny bit of morning sun and a little touch of the very, very late afternoon sun, and they just go crazy. So that's my plan, to put a few trellises or something for them to grow on the south side of buildings. So that could be something really pretty. But what I've got is nasturtium blue pepper, the nasturtium tom thumb black velvet, and nasturtium tip top pink blush. So they're my nasturtiums. I can't wait. And then another one I want to grow, and these will be going in the house yard, hollyhocks. So we've got the chatters double mix, and then I've got some from my neighbour. Pansies and violas, I love them so much. So I've got the little Johnny Jump Ups, which are more of a kind of mid-season thing. I've got Viola Blue Perfection and Pansy Swiss Giant Velvet Mix. So they're all going in, all edible. So you can put them in part shade and they will grow taller, and you can get taller stems, and some varieties have taller stems. So you can actually use them in arrangements, but just because of the way that the business is moving, I don't need extremely long stems on everything anymore. Echinacea, which I got these from the Veggie Garden Seeds, edible. It's like a herb. Roman chamomile, edible again, but this is actually the lawn chamomile. And you know that concrete like paving that Ben did for us? I plan to grow that in the cracks. I'm not sure how it's going to go because it needs full sun to part shade, which it might get a bit too much sun, but that's going in. And then the other ones are, so artichokes, I don't really like, they're edible obviously, but I don't really like the taste. I don't really like how involved it is to cook it. We might cook some when I've got them. They do take a really, like we won't have anything happening on these for 2 to 3 years. But I want to get them going because I think the flowers are absolutely stunning. And then the actual artichoke heads are beautiful. Like I feel like they could be very heavy structural elements to put in a bouquet. So I'm forward thinking with that one a little bit. They're very large plants too. We have plans for the flower field to add some like extra gardens, and this will probably go into one of those because they won't be going out there for a while, and it'll probably be over the next winter that I start prepping those new beds. And then I'm starting some of these edible plants to go out there. It doesn't have to be all edible for those. You'll see as time moves on. The next one is Liastris, another perennial. It's another purple flower. This is edible. I'm not sure if the flower head itself is, but I know that the leaves and the roots are used in medicinal, like for medicinal purposes. I don't know a lot about it, but I want to get some going. I just think it's time to start putting in some perennials, and I am excited to find perennials that have kind of more than one use. You know, like we can use them for cut flowers. We can use them to do some fun things on the channel, like what do they taste like? Most of these plants don't taste very good, but we're very used to having sweet foods, whereas bitter plants, edible bitter plants are actually really good for us. We're just not used to it. So that's another one. They're all my trays. I do have another order coming through. I'll go through that after I've finished all of these. We'll go through that because there might be a couple more things that are going to go in trays. But I don't have that much going in trays at this point because I'm actually going to direct sow a lot of stuff this season. So the first one is marigolds. We have to have marigolds. Moroni loves them. He loves the scent of it. And do you remember that year that I had that tunnel of like the 2 rows of cosmos and I just loved walking through it? It was amazing for photos. Well, he loves marigolds, so maybe we can do a tunnel for him this year with the marigolds, or maybe we do a half marigold, half cosmos tunnel. We'll see. And then of course cosmos. Let's go through cosmos because I'm actually doing a whole heap of varieties of cosmos just to see what else I might love about it. So we've got the seashells mix, bright lights. The bright lights cosmos, that's the yellow, and it's yellow and orange. It's actually edible. The other cosmos isn't, but this yellow and orange one is. So cosmos may be the only plant I allow out there that's not edible if I do the edible thing. I've got the sunset yellow, the sensation dazzler, which is basically like the pinks and whites. Oh, and I've got a little bit of cosmos apricotta. So we might have a little play around with cosmos varieties this season. We've got amaranth. Amaranth is edible. Last year, the varieties that I grew were beautiful and I saved seed from them. So we've got the coral fountain, which has been a favourite ever since I grew it a few years ago. The hot biscuit. I think I'm not usually into those kind of beigey brown colour things, but the hot biscuit, in amongst all my other bright flowers, it looked amazing. Like it made everything pop. So I really loved that. And then I also grew velvet curtain. The next one is sunflowers, and they are edible. Last season I grew a variety called Double Dazzler, and it's very similar to the variety called Teddy Bear. The thing I didn't like about Teddy Bear was it had, for me, the way it grew for me, it had thick stems and it branched, and the heads, for me it was very hard to work with in a bouquet or an arrangement. It wasn't, I really prefer to just have a single stem with a head on top. Anyway, grew the Double Dazzler. It's got that amazing thick fluffy head, just like the teddy bear. but it has much better stems to use in bouquets. So nice straight stems that aren't too thick. So I'm putting a heap of those in. I'm also, my stock standard is Radiance sunflower, the Radiance variety. And we love to plant them, space them far apart so they grow really big. People loved buying giant sunflowers. I have to say, I know that in other parts of the world, people just love sunflowers. They go crazy. Like if you do bouquets with sunflowers, they'll just sell like hotcakes. It hasn't been the case here. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like the most popular flower for people to want to have in their homes in vases and things. But when I sold them as those giant heads, I think the novelty of it, like I'd put, I think I had 5 giant heads. It was like a massive armful of sunflowers. And it was just these giants and I left the really long stems on. I think the novelty of it sold them. Like people were probably just like, what are these? Like, and it's only $35. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm making a fair bit of money on these giant sunflowers. I wish we could get the white one here, which I haven't found it anyway, but I have seen that in the US. I would love to grow that one. But anyway, this is what I'm growing in terms of sunflowers. I also meant to mention I'm going to grow lady's mantle, which is, it's like a herb, medicinal herb. I just want to see how it goes here and what it looks like, and do I like the colour of the green? This is just an experiment, and I think I was supposed to be, yeah, that's being direct sown too. Okay, next. The celosia. I have to get this in now. This is the Kurumi New Scarlet. It's got the big brain head on it. If I need to get these in by the 18th of October. So if I plant them now, I've got a little bit of a head start on that. I have to get those in by the 18th of October if I want to have them for Valentine's Day. And they are a little bit better if they've been as a flower head on the plant for a while, because days to flower, you know, you might just be starting to get your flowers flowering. You really need to bank a couple of weeks onto that as well if you want a really good production of something, especially like the celosia. So we do still plan to sell on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. It kind of gives us like some key points in the year to kind of work towards, to plan things for, but it's also huge money. Like I'm not going to pretend that that we don't like money. It is really big sales days. So with celosia, even the leaves are edible. So, but you really want to use the leaves, like you boil them or use them in salad or use it like a vegetable. I imagine a little bit like spinach or silver beet. But once it flowers, the leaves will go bitter. So we might try that out. Statice. I love statice. So I've got the statice. I've got statice Forever Rose, statice Forever White. So they aren't, how would we say it? They're not edible, but they're not toxic. Like you're not going to get very ill. You might get a little bit of stomachache or something if you ate it. So I feel like it's a safe thing if I decide to do that full edible garden to have statice out there. Because they're safe, they can be used in food, like to decorate foods and things quite safely without drama. They're not exactly edible. Like they don't look very enticing. They look like they'd spike the roof of your mouth. So, you know, that could end up out there too. I've also got some Russian statice. Okay, so I am ordering one more variety of Cosmos. It's the Rubenza variety. I do have more lupins in here. I've got some petunias. I'm ordering some seed because, you know, the garden bed that's got all the ranunculus in it, they will sort of die off as soon as the heat hits, and I want to have petunias to go in those beds just so that there's flowers in it for the summer for me. And it's easy to water and everything. So that's why we've got petunias. They will be in the house yard. They're not edible. They are sometimes used as a garnish, but they're a nightshade. It's part of the nightshade family. They're not recommended to eat. I think if you ate it, you're not going to die or get really sick or go to hospital, I don't think, but you may not feel great. I can't imagine they taste good, so why would you want to eat it? So what you've seen here today is pretty much the flowers that are going in. I'm going to now go through the veggies really quickly. Okay, the veggies. Years ago, I used to grow lots and lots of different varieties of vegetables, and it almost got a little bit out of hand. Like it got hard to kind of keep on top of, which variety was it that I really loved? Because I'm not great at keeping notes. So over the years, I've kind of worked out varieties that I love and I just keep going back to, and then I'll just try, you know, a couple of new varieties each season just to see what I like. One thing I just really love is snow peas, and I'm actually going to go direct sow. That's going to get direct sown, and I'm going to do that. I've got some out there, but the rabbits keep getting them. So I'm going to put some more in. We might get a little crop of snow peas. If not, they just get composted into the ground. Like, I'll just dig them in. It'll just add nutrients. Lemon basil. This is actually kind of a crossover between the flowers and the veggies, but lemon basil has the most gorgeous scent. So does the cinnamon, and we're doing cinnamon basil as well. The most amazing scent. Like, it's just absolutely beautiful. I loved putting it in bouquets, but we also liked using it. So it's kind of a crossover. The lettuce, the Paris Island cos, I still haven't had much success with this, mainly because of bugs and animals eating it. They're going in raised beds this season, and I will keep them netted. So fingers crossed on that one. Spaghetti squash, we love this. We love it so much. You know, if you don't eat grains, or you don't want to eat grains or whatever, so you want to have a vegetable pasta, and a lot of people will get a zucchini and turn it into zoodles. Yeah, I think it's called zoodles, like zucchini noodles. For me, the better option is spaghetti squash, and it's this beautiful yellow, like melony looking thing. You steam it, and then you peel out the flesh is stringy. It's actually got the most beautiful taste. And then you put your pasta sauce and everything on it. It is the best alternative. And then sometimes I'll do it and I'll put the mince, like make boats with it, and then eat it like that, and it's so good. So definitely we're having spaghetti squash. Capsicums, I'm hopeless at growing them, so I'm trying again. We're gonna see how I go. I've got to have chili for Moroni. So we've got jalapeno, serrano, that's more capsicum. Loofahs. I just really like loofahs. I don't even know what I'm doing with them yet, but they're just so fun to grow because you end up with this really cool, it is actually useful. Like, you can use it to clean, like for cleaning, like dishes. You can use it in the shower. Tomatoes, I've got romas, ram's horns, and I thought I had another, that might be it. The romas and the ram's horn. Romas are just a staple, and I like to make a year's worth of tomato sauce, like ketchup. And we didn't do it last year, and I've really missed it. Next is pumpkins. So last year I grew those little tiny mini white pumpkins, the little baby boo, and I used them in flower arrangements, and they're so cute. They're just like a little joy. I loved it. And I'm waiting for the spooky pumpkins to come back in stock. They're the little tiny mini orange ones. So I plan to grow both of those, and I'll trellis them. The big pumpkins, so Queensland blue, I grow that because it's got a really thick skin on it and it stores really well, and it is a really nice tasting pumpkin. I've got some Jap pumpkin on order, and the Cinderella. The Cinderella, it's a really soft pumpkin, like soft, thin skin. It doesn't store well. It's just so cute. Like, I feel like that's just a cute thing to have out there and look at. Watermelons. So the Kensington is delicious. That will be kind of our main staple watermelon. And then the Moon and Stars, like if you've been watching, you've seen me loving Moon and Stars. I fell in love with it like 10 years ago. It's just so pretty. It's like this bluish green, dark green, blue tingy sort of skin with these yellow spots all over it, and they look like moons and stars because some spots are big and some are little tiny. They're just so pretty. I love that. Zucchinis, I don't even know. I think it's blackjack. I've just been saving seeds. I saved it in 2014. I've nearly run out, so I need to save some this season. And I've got a new packet of blackjack just in case. So I'll probably plant a couple of each just to be sure. I've got some spinach, the Bloomsdale Longstanding. There's a rainbow chard that I've got on order. And cucumbers, I need to order some cucumber. I've got the Burpless one here. We want to grow something a little bit more like standard. We'll try Lebanese again. The crystal apple was okay, but it was just bitter. There wasn't anything I could do to try to make that not be bitter. And then we've got the mini cabbages, which I'm going to try them now. But otherwise they go in, the main crop goes in January. And that, if we plant enough of them, we're still eating them from our garden now. So they'll get us all the way through, and they're amazing. They're just like this perfect size. Once you pull off the, chewed up leaves on the outside, they're just a really nice sized cabbage, just a little one. And if you grow enough, you've got plenty. So that's the seed trays for the veggies. And now we've got the direct sow. So beetroot, blue butterfly pea. This is that one that you make a drink out of it, you squeeze some lemon juice in and it changes colour. So I'm just going to direct sow it. It's a trellising plant because I just have enough. I want to minimise how many trays I'm doing. Dill. We really like salmon dips, you know, like you get the can of salmon with the mayo and you chop up the little red onion and then you eat it with like rice cakes or something, or you dip things into it and you eat it. We love that. Or you put it on a sandwich or something. And dill, I can just imagine the taste. It would taste so good in that. Climbing beans, Blue Lake. These were the ones that did really well for us. Radishes, so the beetroot. It's normally the Detroit one I grow. So carrots, all seasons. Swedes, we just love them so much. We can't get enough swede. It's almost replaced potatoes for us. Coriander, needs to go in a raised bed for it to do any well for us. And the sweet corn. So I'm putting a lot of sweet corn in. It's the Polaris F1. It was just really delicious. It was really nice. So we're going to put a heap of it out there. And then I've got some corn to go in the house yard. Okay, so there's the little mini blue popcorn, the maize, and then there's the blue hoppy, which I was going to try. I just want to try a few things. Then there's the Oaxacan green maize, the glass gem. So I've kind of gone crazy on corn. Some of these will be in the house yard because I feel like they add nice structure. The thing about corn is they like regular water. They really like a lot of water. And some of our house yard beds, like I'm switching one over to be more native, so it needs less water. So I do have to be careful where I plant these. Bunching onions. I don't know how to say this. Natsuyo. I've loved that variety. Grows really well here, so we'll just keep doing that. Mizuna. We're in the local garden club. Went to a garden tour and they had this veggie patch. It was in the middle of winter, so I was kind of interested what's growing right now. And they had the Mizuna. It's a little bit like rocket. It's got like a peppery. We all got a taste. It's got like this peppery heat. It's like peppery, and then after you've swallowed it, the heat starts. But it was nice, and I was thinking that would be so nice with like a roast beef, or just in a salad if you want a bit of kick. It would be so good. So we're going to put that in. And there's also the corn salad. It's a Dutch sort of, it's like a lettucey sort of thing, but it's a bit more substantial than lettuce. And it grows through winter here too. So I'm sort of thinking ahead and just pulling up some plants that we might be able to have a little bit more variety out there in the winter. And that's all. Like that, we're done. I'm just jumping in real quick because I got some exciting mail. If you saw last vlog, I had ordered calendars for the channel. And so they came and I've had a look at them. Here it is. I'm just going through making some notes. I think I want to change the front cover. I'm not sure. What do you think? I at least need to saturate the colour and up the contrast a bit. Just with the printing. Obviously, it's not like printing a photo. But I mean, look at it. It looks beautiful. And it's just a plain calendar, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can add your little, notes next to it, what the special days are. Let me just show you one more page. Hang on, I'll find one. So it's sort of a mix of flowers and a little bit of landscape. So excited. I love it. I think they look so good. I will make these tweaks to it, get it set up on my shop, and hopefully by next vlog, it'll be up and ready to buy. Once I've got this up, I'll go back to this video and add the link to buy it in the description of this video and the previous week as well. So any week that I've mentioned the calendar, I'll put a link in the description for you. But you should be able to just buy it from the YouTube shop as well. It'll pop up in the YouTube shop on my channel when it's available. And it ships all over the world. I can't tell you how much it's going to be in your country. Just click on it and have a look. I've tried to keep it as affordable as possible. And it ships directly, so it's through Printify, so they are going to ship it for me. Okay,